Meeting to order. First up tonight, we have approval of the agenda. If there are no changes to be made, I'll seek a motion for approval. Okay. Bid package, you want to make that in organizational?
I think we just add a line item, put regular, just being a regular business or new business.
Okay. Yeah, between organizational and appointments. Yeah. Okay, so we're making a few changes. We're going to remove appointments for the TWASA board until our next meeting, and then add new business bid appointments, bid approvals. Those few changes. Is there a motion to approve our agenda? And second?
Second.
All in favor? None opposed. Next up, we have our regular meeting minutes. If there's no needs for any adjustments in those minutes, I'll seek a motion for approval.
So moved.
And second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Moving on now to administrative reports. Commissioner Smith and I went up to Little Canada Community Center and had about an hour-long conversation with those residents and those community member participants, just going over kind of what they wanted in their community center and ideas that they thought might be prudent to its renovation. I think we came back and I reported to Mr. King all of the things that they had ideas for. One very apparent request was sound deadening. It was so echoey in that room that you couldn't have a conversation. So we're making those adjustments to their community center and fire department and have some ideas. We'll go back up there and talk to them again once we have some engineering and architect renderings to kind of show them how we're going to move forward. So it was a good meeting.
Yeah, they seem to be very pleased with the new direction. Yeah.
So, any other commissioners have anything to report this week?
Mr. Chair, I would like to make an announcement. After many months of prayer and thought and discussion with my wife and family, I won't be running for re-election coming up. Y'all won't see my name on the ballot next year. I have a 2-year-old at home that cries every time I leave to go to a meeting late at night. And, I just need to focus more time on them and other commitments, new commitments. And I thank Jackson County for the opportunity that I've had to serve. I plan on serving the rest of my term out, and it's been an honor to serve Jackson County.
Good announcement. Thank you, Todd. And I appreciate all the time you've dedicated and understand the reasons why you're not wanting to seek re-election.
It's tough. It's a very tough decision to make, but because I love this county and I want to see good things come to it. But for now, let's just put it. For now, there may become a day I run again, but for now, I need to step aside and focus on my family.
Any other reports from commissioners this evening? If not, I'll turn it over to County Manager Kevin King and his
Just a few updates on projects at the high school. The track is going to be bid opening on Thursday. So at the next meeting, you'll have opportunity to look at those bids when they come in. The administration building is set to bid out first part of January, and that'll be the second one. And then the third one is going to be the fairground. Not the fairground, but the Fairview Elementary project, which is going to be later on in January. probably for the March LGC. So in the meantime, I think next meeting we'll be talking about the financial structure and going through that process of the application process. So the fairgrounds, we did have a bid opening today, and that's what was added to your agenda tonight. To look at those bid tallies and award a bidder for the mechanical and the electrical contractor. Library update. At this point, we've spent around $11,000 on our consultants, and so those consultants, we have informed them that their service is no longer needed at this point. We've gotten all the information we need, and so we are looking at putting in the paper and on our website a job announcement for a library director, and we'll be going through that process in January, and work with y'all on the job announcement because that will be a board directed position, and to try to get them on in February to go through the transitional planning for the remainder of the transition period. So if that meets your approval. And then today we met with McGill and Associates up at the Cashers SRC, the recycling center. And so we're working on planning for MSW waste and also C&D, construction demolition material, to try to be a transfer station from that area up there. So we're got a grant proposal going out in January for that. So hopefully we'll get that awarded once we get the engineering work completed. So, any questions? Okay.
Questions this evening? First up this evening is Chris Bogardus. Mr. Bogardus.
I had two things I wanted to talk about tonight. The first is the voting at WCU. I'd like to see that voting site stay there. It has been overstaffed in the past. I've worked there. They don't need 10 or 12 people there. 3 people would do it, but it's respectful to the students who contribute a lot of wealth to this area to have it there. And if it's a partisan issue, it is not a partisan issue. There's no telling how those students are going to vote. The second thing is I brought a copy of the sex ed book that the Jackson people keep objecting to. I feel that if you guys take a good solid look at it, you'll see that it's not some porno thing. It's just a normal 5th grade level sex ed textbook. So I'm going to leave it with y'all.
Thank you. Next up this evening, we have Luther Jones. I'm sorry.
I attended the last meeting here, and directly after that, I sent an email to Chairman Letson. This is the email that I sent. Dear Mr. Letson, I attended the November 18th meeting this evening. I noticed a possible problem with voting on appointments to the various boards. Directly after the vote, members of the Planning Board, number 23 on the agenda, the next vote was for members of the Library Board, which was not number 24 on the agenda. The only mention of the Library Board is on the second page of the agenda, listed as number 30, underlined in boldface heading of candidate selections for interviews at the December 2nd work session. If these candidates are still under review or to be interviewed, how can the vote for these positions have been legitimately made? This might also apply to the vote on the board members for the Tourism Development Authority as well, as it is listed both as item 28 and also under the above mentioned heading as item 34. If people for these positions are still under consideration, as the heading seems to imply, then neither one of these votes is valid. Could you please clear this confusion up for me? Thank you. I did not receive any clarification from Chairman Letson. This leaves me with a couple of questions. Number one, was the vote for the Library Board valid, inasmuch as it was not on the agenda? And number two, secondly, if the vote is legal and valid, inasmuch as it was not on the agenda, do you consider the said vote to be ethical? And probably the third one is if I send an email to this board, why didn't somebody reply? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Moving on now to selection of vice chair in our organizational section. Mr. Bryson, you have served as our vice chair for the last 2 years. I would like 3 years, yeah. Is there any reason you wouldn't want to serve in your fourth?
I'd be happy to.
Is there a nomination for Mr. Bryson as our vice chair?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
None opposed. All right, moving on now to our bonds for sheriff and register of deeds. Don't have any paperwork for them.
I think the standard, you could do it's through Western Surety, and it's basically just approving their bond for an additional year.
The sheriff's bond is 25,000, register of deeds is 50,000.
With that, is there a motion to approve the bonds for the sheriff and the register of deeds?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Moving on now to our adoption of the Board of Commissioners Rules and Procedures Policy. Everybody has a copy of those. I'll turn it over to Mr. King. If there's any.
Yeah, this is the same policy that was done last year. There was no additions. I think at this point, it's just, if it's good, you just approve it with the current way of doing, running the meetings. If not, we can put it on the work session to kind of go over it for discussion or amendments.
Any needs for adjustments?
Y'all want to talk about it in the work session?
We can move it to the work session and vote on it 18th,
That's fine.
That's fine.
whatever that date is,
Okay.
16th.
And then everybody has a list of their current boards that they're serving on. I am quite happy with the ones I'm on. I don't think I can take on any more.
Same here.
Any needs for changes on these boards, or is everybody okay?
Good.
All right. Is there a motion to keep the boards as listed?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. All right. Moving on now to new business and our bid appraisals, approvals.
So in front of you is the bid tally sheet from today. This is for the Charles Eller Event Center, which is a 24,000 square foot facility in the Whittier area. And we bid out specifically the mechanical and electrical. We have 3 bidders. One is Clark and Leatherwood, Van Noy, and Rise. And so Clark Leatherwood presented a base bid of $1,060,000. Van Noy $1,935,000, and Rise at $1,240,583. So it's a recommendation of Reese Nolan McElrath, who is their engineering firm, and also the bid folks. And my recommendation to award the contract to Clark and Leatherwood for $1,060,000.
Is that what we had planned on?
It's a little bit elevated. I think we'd planned for around 800, but we're still underneath the $100 per square foot overall for the project, which is a very good price for that type of facility. So
And all 3 of these are putting the same system in?
they got the exact same bid documents. Yep.
Wow, that one's almost double.
Yeah, I don't think they sharpened their pencil on it too good. So
Or they just wanted to bid and didn't want it.
Yeah.
That happens.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Moving on now. If there are no questions from the press, we do have a need to go into closed session this evening for real property and legal. So is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. closed session, we had two actions to vote on. The first is the Harris Regional Hospital property where Pam's Child Development Center is located. PIN number 7642-63-3197. We had an offer to purchase in on that property for $835,000 that was accepted. They were going to sell that property, and Pam could not move her business, so the county has decided that it's crucial. We need to purchase that property.
That's in order to keep, so Pam can keep her
Keep her
So we can-
operation
childcare
going.
business.
And we're,
So we can keep daycare for families here.
and we're also getting the other building beside, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Where the nonprofit is located.
Yep.
Is there a motion to approve that purchase?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Jennings,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Bryson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hooper,
Yes.
Chairman Ledson.
Yes. The second action is on the TNS Hardwood property that the county owns. There is a bid process going to be put into the paper for removal of the existing buildings that are on that property, and we just need a vote on opening that bid. So is there a motion to allow that bid to open?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hooper,
Yes.
Commissioner Bryson,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Jennings,
Yes.
Chairman Ledson.
Yes. With no further business, we do have our our work session after this meeting, and then our regularly scheduled meeting on the 16th coming up. With no further business, is there a motion to adjourn our regular session?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? We are adjourned.
On time.
I know.
Yeah, 7 o'clock.
All right. Go ahead and call our work session to order. First up tonight, we have Mr. Parker, our Director of Public Works, coming to talk about all things in Public Works Department.
Good evening. Thank you for having me tonight to present our department. Just want to first start off by saying that we have a great staff. We have a wonderful staff, and they do a great job. That we couldn't do it without them. We've got probably a total of 60 employees, 60 plus employees in all of Public Works, and we have a lot of contractors as well, and they do a wonderful job. Just blessed to have them, and just happy to be able to be a part of it. So, our departments are garage, green energy, grounds, housekeeping, maintenance, and solid waste. Let's see. I'm going to go through this pretty fast because we've got a lot of slides, but mainly a lot of pictures just to show you some of the things that our folks do. But a little bit of a narrative of what the garage does. They do basically all the repairs to vehicles that we have, 275 approximate vehicles, 52 trailers, 150 pieces of equipment. We have a work order system that we use in Public Works and throughout all Public Works. And they do about 600 work orders a year. They do some fabricating and welding, air conditioning certifications, certifying air conditioners, because when you do that, you have to have that certification to put the refrigerant in the vehicle and everything. Tire changing, brakes, minor body repairs, and state vehicle inspections. They have to go to SCC and get a certification for that as well. A lot of the larger repairs, such as transmissions and things like that, we contract those things out. They have 3 full-time employees and 1 part-time employee. The total budget is $318,651. That's a picture of the garage. I'm assuming many of you have been there probably at some point on Skyland Drive. We also have a wash bay that we built. Actually, our department built this several years ago so we can wash the vehicles and wash equipment and things of that nature. I'm not going to talk a lot about the Green Energy Park because I know Morgan was here a few months ago or a few weeks ago and talked about that. But it is, and he's doing a great job with the green energy and all that's been going on down there. But they do have glass blowing, blacksmithing, pottery. They have the 3 full-time employees, and their budget is $454,605. And I think he showed this picture probably when he was here before, but that's the new front of the building down there at the Dillsboro Creative Arts Center. Grounds responsible for mowing and maintenance around approximately 730 acres, which includes the rec parks, athletic fields, all county buildings and facilities. And it's a little bit different here in Jackson that we do the school campus as well, public schools. Landscaping and beautification of all county facilities. We do all snow and ice removal for the facilities as well. And also for the public schools, we do snow removal at the public schools, not the sidewalks, but we do the parking lots and roadways. They assist emergency management during disasters. You'll see a few pictures of that from Hurricane Helene. Assist in with maintenance projects, carpentry, roofing, and concrete. A lot of people in grounds also have a lot of skill to be able to do those things as well. So again, we're real happy to be able to have those folks to be able to do both. 21 full-time employees, 2 part-time employees. That budget is $1,865,031. And here's a picture of the grounds garage with different pieces of equipment in there. Some of these pictures are a little older than others, but this is just an example of mowing out at Fairview. And of course, they do a lot of weed eating, and when they're mowing, probably not the most fun thing that you could do, but they do a really good job at it. And those guys, they don't complain and they do it. So
They
again,
really do a good job.
they do.
They have a lot to mow and weed eat.
I know I say that a lot, but I mean I really mean it, and I know everybody knows that they do a lot of work. So
I know a couple of them, and they enjoy doing it. So
yeah, and then in other departments, all the departments, I mean the maintenance and all those, they do a lot of work. I know one of the guys started working here a few years ago, and they said, I think their wife asked him how was it. Probably pretty easy, wasn't it? And he said, well, I work more here than I did in the private sector because, I mean, I think that people think it's county. There's not a lot of work, but there's quite a bit. This is a ball field that we were dressing up with new dirt and everything, so they do that as well. They do all the ball fields for all the Little League games, all the different sports that's out there, especially Fairview and Mark Watson and Cullowhee. And then, of course, this is a picture of the flower beds on the courthouse hill that our guys plant every year. I don't have a lot of other ones, but they do all the beautification again.
And don't y'all put out all the flags and the Christmas trees and
Yes.
all that as well?
Yes, and I'll show a picture of that as well. But yes, we do that. Do a lot of this time of year, leaf blowing, just a lot of leaves. This is an old picture of the archery range that was that's built now above the Cullowhee Rec Center. We cleared the land for that and prepared that for that archery range. Again, that's snow and ice that they get to deal with in the wintertime at the schools to try to help keep the schools going and get those people, back at work and back to school, as much as I'm sure the students don't want to be there. But we try to put them back there as quickly as we can as far as snow and ice. This is a picture of it's a very bad picture, but it's a picture of clearing at the Charles Elders Event Center, where we went and cleared a lot of debris down there and got that site cleaned up. This is some of the pictures from Helene. The grounds department was very instrumental in helping with logistics as far as helping unload the food and water as they brought these into the Jackson County Airport on these helicopters. And then there's a picture of the flags that get put up on the hill. It's called Flags for Heroes.
Veterans Day.
I think the Rotary there was first contact with that. But and then we put them on the 4th down at the monuments at Mark Watson Park. And let's see. Then the Christmas trees, that's not the best picture of that. I probably could have got another one at night, but I think that was this year when they just got them completed. Housekeeping is responsible for satisfactory cleaning practices in all of our buildings, and they work obviously for the public and county staff. Provide the cleaning and sanitation of county facilities, excluding recreation parks and river access areas. The recreation department has their own staff that does that. 25 county facilities, 23 total staff, 21 full-time and 2 part-time. They did all have different varying hours as far as working. Some work from 6 to 1. Well, they work from, can be here at 6 a.m. all the way to 1 a.m. depending on the building you go in. Some of the ones like the rec center stays open a little bit later, so they have to stay there later. And then, of course, they also have to work on Saturdays and Sundays. And that budget is $1,777,058. Maintenance, of course, this is repair and maintenance of all facilities and the equipment located in the buildings. We have 50 buildings. That number is higher than housekeeping because you have a lot of outlying buildings such as SRCs that housekeepers don't clean. Just an example of why there's more buildings there. They have about 1,200 work orders annually. For housekeeping, we don't use the work order system because it's a normal routine every day for most of those folks as far as where they're cleaning at. Of course, we do HVAC, plumbing, electrical, painting, carpentry, masonry, roofing, and concrete are just some of the things that we can do. And again, just like as in what I said about the garage, if there's larger projects, larger HVAC projects, then we contract those out. Of course, larger electrical, as Mr. King alluded to, there was a bid opening today. Those are things that we would certainly pass along to the contractor to do. And then state road signs, and I need to change this slide, but what I mean there is I don't know, a lot of people don't know that we put, as a county in the maintenance department, we install the street name signs on the state roads. We don't do that on private roads. We do make private road signs. If someone would like to request one, then they can request one through finance, and then they send the work order over to us, and we'll make that for a fee. But as far as the state road signs, if there's a state road sign missing, then we put those back up. So if you see our guys on the side of the road, they're not trying to do the DOT's job. They're doing the sign work that we're supposed to be doing. Cashiers Waterworks is the water system in Cashiers area that basically serves about, I think it's probably 10 or 11, 12 buildings that we have. It mainly serves a lot of our buildings, such as the Cashiers Rec Center, the building inspections, and we maintain that with the help of Tuckasegee Water and Sewer. They do a lot of it. They do a lot of the testing and all the things because there's the certification required to do that. They also assist the contractors. We have to have backflow inspections on buildings, and then we have elevator contractors, sprinkler contractors. Facility Dude is the name of the work order system that we use. And then they also assist emergency management during disasters. I just wanted to highlight a few of the special projects that they've worked on. The Charles Elders Event Center, Mark Watson Skate Park, the Emergency Management Storage Building, the Mark Watson Monument a few years ago, life jacket holder stations. We built that wash bay I showed earlier, remodeling bathrooms for handicap accessibility, and remodeling the exterior and painting of DOA and Cashiers. And we did a lot of the sidewalks and shelters for recreation and Cashiers. We have 12 full-time employees and 1 permanent part-time employee. The budget for maintenance is $3,482,738. It includes utilities and property insurance, so that gets paid out of maintenance budget. Here's an example of the concrete work and some of the sheds that were put up in Cashiers area. So most of that, if you go walk around the Cashiers Rec Center on these sidewalks, probably 100% of those sidewalks were done by our department. So they did a great job with that. This is just another example of some sheetrock work here in the courthouse. Here's the skate park that they poured just a few weeks ago. And that's, from what I hear, I think they're supposed to be here on the 10th to implement the stations that are supposed to be placed there. So This is obviously, if you've been down there, the Charles Elder Event Center. This is the backside where they poured the block, put the block, placed the block, and I didn't get a picture of the latest, but they've backfilled this, and they're going to have another ramp there. So a little bit more to go there, a lot more to go, but they're working on it, doing a great job on it. This is a few years ago when we did the monument at Mark Watson, concrete work and brickwork, and I know we have a lot of veterans where they place the bricks down there. They're very appreciative of having that. So. And get a lot of compliments on that from them, from the American Legion. This is the emergency management building when we started building over there as far as the footers go. So a couple of pictures on that. There's when they were getting ready to pour that morning. And then there's that afternoon after they had poured. This is an example of grounds and maintenance. We built this in front of the community services building to house the flags for that building after that building was completed by the contractor. Just an example of something else that you just wouldn't think about. We do a lot of work in the detention center. This is a lock that they have to change transformers, do different little things like that for. So you never really know what you're going to be dealing with. Another picture of the sidewalks. That's a life jacket loaner station. You see those at all the river put-ins. Our folks built those. This is some of the signage that I'm not sure if this one's on the Greenway, but this is some of the things that we built, like for the Greenway, to house or hold the signs that they have on those at those facilities. This is some water work a few years ago that we did in collaboration with Tuckasegee Water and Sewer and Cashers by the Village Hound and the Village Green. Now, solid waste is the other department, and basically we are tasked with the storage and collection, transportation, processing, and disposal of recycling and solid waste materials for the public here in Jackson County. And we have 8 staffed recycling centers. I'm sure everybody's probably visited one of those. The transfer station is located out on Mineral Springs Road, and one closed landfill in Dillsboro that's next to the animal shelter down there in that area. And then we do a lot of contract management in solid waste for the waste disposal. That would be Republic Services. Recycling is curbside recycling in Asheville. And then the hauling to landfill is done by Kinsland Trucking, and then hauling from the SRCs to the transfer station, that's done by Republic Services. Also, I didn't put it in here, but the employees that work at the SRC sites are contract employees through Republic Services. Tires, we contract with U.S. Tire, Concord. White goods is Metalwood here locally in Silva. We take all of our white goods metal to their facility. And then brush grinding, we collect that at the transfer station, and then we have that ground up by, I think it's Schuler's, recent mulching out of, I think it's Franklin, yes. And then we do some environmental enforcement and education. We do have a part-time enforcement person in the solid waste department. They go out basically if someone has trash in their yard, and they can take pictures. And sometimes ultimately we end up in court with those situations to try to get those folks to clean that up. But most people in a normal situation will pick up if there's something there. But we do go out and do that. And then education, we have a recycling coordinator that does education in the schools, and then also does different things throughout the year as far as any events that they can go to talk about recycling and solid waste. We have 7 full-time employees, 2 part-time employees, and the budget is $5,298,556. Some revenues in the solid waste department. The main revenue sources are the solid waste availability fees, and these are broke down based on bedrooms in the house, and then also the tipping fees. Is when someone brings in waste, whether it be commercial or C&D waste. They get charged $66 a ton when they come in the transfer station, and then $33 a ton for brush. We also have some taxes that we collect based on the state regulations, which is the white goods tax, the scrap tire tax, and the electronics tax. All these are, if you buy an appliance, you buy a scrap tire, you buy an electronic device such as a computer or a TV, you pay that tax in, and then the county gets that back. The retailer collects it, the county gets it back redistributed from the state. The same thing goes for the solid waste disposal tax. We pay a $2 fee per ton as the waste goes into the landfill, and then that gets reimbursed to counties again from the state. The sale of recyclables, I'd listed two here because these are the main ones that you can make money off of as far as revenues, metal and paper. We do, jumping into what we do recycle, we also recycle commingled containers, which is the plastics, the ones, the 2s, the 4s, the 5s, and the 7s. And then we exclude the 3s and the 6s. 3s are basically PVC, and then 6 is styrofoam. And then also clamshell containers, that the plastic, like blueberry containers and stuff like that, they can't take those. There's several reasons. Some of it's market, some of it is those things get in the machines because they have teeth that, and then they kind of jam up the machines. But so glass, we take glass as well. Glass is one of the major contributors to causing commingled containers to not be of a lot of value, because glass is not valuable when it comes to selling it at market. But we continue to take it and recycle it through curbside. And then metals in that commingled container is your aluminum and your metal cans. We say all items should be rinsed out. You don't have to clean it you don't have to put it in the dishwasher and run it through. I had somebody call me and said they were running their recycling through their dishwasher before they put it out. You don't have to do that, but if you want to do that, you can. But paper is the other form. Basically, we have what's called a dual stream recycling program, because some counties have single stream where it all goes together. We have a dual stream, which is the commingled containers and the paper. And it's pretty much any kind of paper, unless it's sold or it's got waxed material on the outside of it. And as I was going to say, the recycling market's changed also as far as the amount of things that we can take. Also, they changed as far as revenue. But one of the things that changed actually this week was paper cups. We haven't been able to take those before, like the ones you get from Starbucks or a coffee cup. But actually this week they called me and said we can start taking those. So we're putting that on the website and let people know that they can put paper cups in with the paper products. Metal, it's pretty self-explanatory. Used motor oil, antifreeze, those are the sites that we take those items at. We take fluorescent bulbs as well. We take batteries. There's a ban on lithium-ion batteries in next year, December 1st, 2026, from the landfill. So a lot of these items that we take are already banned, such as aluminum cans and things of that nature. Lead acid batteries, we take those at the transfer station, and we can recycle those at Metalwood, but you also can recycle those typically when you buy a battery. They'll take those back in exchange for core charge. Cooking and vegetable oil, we have sites that we will take that as well. So if someone does a turkey, as far as just we had the Thanksgiving holiday and they deep fry turkey, then they can bring that oil there and recycle that in those containers. We have a mercury thermostat recycling program. You don't see that as much anymore, but the old thermostats had a mercury bulb in them to cause the thermostat to either kick on or off but we still collect those because we do see them from time to time. Electronics recycling is basically computers, TVs. Those items are banned from the landfill. Here's a quantity list. I'm not going to go through all these, but you can take a look and see. We did about 40,000 tons of waste. This is last year's materials numbers as far as 24, 25. And see, we recycled 1,460 and then 655 on the containers. So you can see, I mean, obviously the waste, we have a lot more waste, and that waste includes C&D and MSW. That's the totals for everything. So And then we do have outreach events. I was talking earlier about the recycling coordinator. They schedule these events like cleaning up the mountains, litter pickup. We do those in the spring and the fall. We have we haven't had one in this last year, but household hazardous waste collection event. The last one we had, these are the numbers that we collected.
How often do you have those?
We try to have those once a year, but we have not had one in the past year, so we'll be trying to schedule another one of those. Those are very expensive events, but not that. I mean, it's just one time a year typically.
And that's up at the transfer station?
The last time we did an event, we did it at Mark Watson Park. Because the first time we did the event, we did it at Cullowhee Rec Center before the new building was built, and we figured out quickly that was a mistake just because of queuing of the vehicles. So we had a long line of cars that were actually out on Cullowhee Mountain Road. So we moved it the last time to Mark Watson, and probably would have it again there because there's a lot more room to be able to queue the cars. And then we have free shred events, typically in October or November. We just had one at the end of October. I will say that the Department on Aging typically has one in the spring. So if you don't catch the one that we do in October, then they have one in the spring, usually around March or so. And then I talked earlier about school outreach. We try to target the 5th grade class. That way they kind of are old enough to understand a little bit more about recycling and things, and litter. We try to talk to them about litter as well because it's obviously a big problem, not just here, but everywhere that you go. So here's some of the volunteers doing some litter pickup. This is actually the event I was talking about for the household hazardous waste. The cars got all the way out into the road. It was a good event, but we had to make sure we didn't block the road. Here's a picture of the shred truck day. And then just some pictures of the staff recycling centers. This is the one in Dillsboro, looking back from the landfill. You can tell this is an older picture because we have quite a bit more stuff. This is Greens Creek. It's a drive-through site. So basically, I did this so that, see, we have basically 2 type sites that you can come in and drive through and circle out and go back out the same way you came in, or we have the drive-through site, which is at Greens Creek. And then this is just a map to tell you kind of how everything's laid out. And I'm going to go through those individually as well. But we have the self-contained compactors for garbage that the citizens would use. I just put this up here because we are only supposed to take garbage from residential sources in Jackson that come from Jackson County. And then we have a container, 40-yard container to take large items such as furniture and things of that nature from citizens. Here's our typical paper recycling can. This is some of the signage that you would see at the site telling you what can be recycled in the paper. Commingled container, typical can. We also have just open tops that you can just dump the containers into. Another sign that we have been using. The state came up with these signs to kind of use as a universal sign for all counties. And then, some of the things that you just need to leave out of our recycling. And just a typical metal box that people put their metal in. This is, again, Greens Creek. And then the recycling electronics. Those we put those in the Gaylords, and then we unload those with the skid steer at the transfer station, and those get put into a trailer. I'll show you that in just a second. Transfer station that we have in the Addy community. This is a pad that we did use for metal. The electronics is over here under that tin roof where the arrow's at. The orange trailer is a tire trailer that we collect tires in. Now we just have a box below the wall for metal, but we used to collect metal, and before we utilized Kinsland and Metalwood down here in Silva, now they just take it all there directly. We don't have to pile it up here. We actually use that for mulch now. This is a picture of the scale house for the transfer station. And just looking at where we stage trailers that are loaded underneath this shed over here. This is the ramp that the commercial haulers go up to back into the transfer station. This is another picture of the staging area for loaded trailers. A picture on the transfer station floor. And then just some regular operations. I have seen the transfer station building full. When we've had breakdowns and things of that nature, it's not that great to see that, but it does happen. This is the trailer that's being loaded from the floor there. And this is an area that we have. If you've been to the transfer station, you probably know it very well, but you drive around behind and there's a wall here, and this is where you back up and you throw your garbage off. So if you're in a pickup truck, or if it's self or hand unloading, we don't put those people on the floor with the trucks that have to dump. And somebody just kind of keep those two types of vehicles apart so that people can unload safely here on this. And then this is just a picture I found. This is not any landfill that I don't know where it came from, but this is where it ultimately ends up in a landfill.
That's awesome.
And then the recycling parts of the transfer station. The old transfer station building is now the paper recycling building. And then beside of it, you see these bags laying here. There's a trailer below that. Here's inside the cardboard paper building. This is, I was over at Curbside one day when, and visiting with them and doing some things over there. And one of our trucks came in and was backing in to unload some paper. And you can see, they've got quite a bit of stuff there, but a lot of the stuff that they have come in is single stream, so it's paper and commingled containers together. But I think our material eliminates one step of their process, so they can dump it in a different area and move forward with it a lot quicker. This is the agricultural pesticide container recycling program. So basically, we get a lot of DOTs. They triple rinse these and bring them up there, and we have a contractor that comes in through Ag Extension, and they grind these up and recycle those. Here's a picture of the commingled container trailer that was below that wall. Basically, the trucks come in and they just dump directly into this, and then we tamp it down and ship it out. I'm not going to show that video. It's a recycling center video. It's about 8 minutes long, but it explains how recycled materials can come in commingled and be separated out. So if you're ever interested in something like that, it's a short YouTube video, but I just wanted to go ahead with the rest of this here. But as far as electronics recycling, you can see we have various ways of dealing with them. The bigger TVs, we have to shrink wrap and load those onto a trailer. We don't get as much of that material now as we did at one time. Now the glass TVs they're not. I guess they don't even manufacture those anymore. So
We're getting a little scared.
yeah, so we get a lot of flat screens. Excuse me. So and a lot of computers and things like that. And this is what the metal pile used to look like. Again, we haul all this directly down from the SRC sites to Metalwood now, but we would keep the refrigerators separate to the side and remove the refrigerant from those. And this is a typical tire trailer where people have to come up, and the orange trailer I showed you earlier, they back up to the trailer and they stack those tires in there. And this is our brush pile where we grind and make the mulch. And there's typical mulch pile that we have. And then the Dillsboro landfill, basically just some highlights. Opened in the 70s. It was closed. We closed it in 96. That was the MSW part. We actually kept the lower area open where the dog park is now. Was kept open until 98, and we put C&D in that area and then closed it in 98. It originally belonged to the town, and the county took it over at some point in the 80s, I believe. We're required to monitor groundwater to methane for 30 years after closure. And then, of course, that's coming up pretty soon. I'm not so sure that we'll be able to stop doing that, but it is still being monitored for those two. A lot of different constituents in groundwater and methane specifically per the state regulation. And then we also flare the methane. There's a flare station there. I'll show you a picture of that. And then obviously it's used down at the Dillsboro Creative Arts Center. It's just an overhead view of different wells that we have around the landfill. All these GPs are gas probes. These are vents, passive vents, but we don't use those anymore because, as you'll see, and these are the monitoring wells, the groundwater monitoring wells. And then this is a picture of the flare that we have that burns. If you drive up to the Dillsboro SRC and you look to the left, you'll see it up there and usually see the flame burning because it burns all the time. And then this is a typical well an extraction well up on top of the landfill. And, we have a walking trail there now, so we fence these in and make sure people are aware that you don't need to be smoking or actually getting around these. And just another view of the top. You can see all the different wells that are up there. And then this is a passive vent that I was talking about. It's just basically a pipe in the ground. Originally we had a lot of issues with methane on top of the landfill when it was first closed, which is typically what you would see. The methane is more productive, and the longer it goes, that it's past closure, and it does not produce as much methane as the longer you go. And I think that's the reason why they maybe come up with a 30-year rule, but we still are getting quite a bit of methane out of the landfill. And then this is a picture of the lower part that I was talking about earlier that we used for C&D and up to 98. And now it's, if anybody's been down there and seen it, it's the dog park. And that's all I have.
Chad, thank you so much. Any questions from the board? I know you manage a lot of people, a lot of property, a lot of everything. And without you and your crew, this county would be in a world hurt.
We really appreciate what they do, and those folks don't get enough credit for what they do.
Yeah, like I said, I don't want to make it sound like it's just being said because it really is true. We really we're blessed to have the employees that we have in these departments.
They really don't get the recognition they should get.
And the contract employees, I'll say the SRC attendants, all those folks, the people that drive for Kinsland Trucking, they all do a great job.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
Have y'all been able to get a handle on the upper area where the metal used to be? You've got the mulch there. I know past couple of months y'all had a couple of fires there.
Yeah, it's still every now and then you'll see a little bit of something out of it. I think I went to a meeting probably a couple of months ago with all the counties for solid waste.
We all have the problem, so.
And everybody's like, well, all our mulch piles are, flaming up sometimes. And, but yeah, we've got it under control. It's not a problem. It's happened in the past. I don't know what it is. It must just be a perfect scenario for the weather and the heat stored up in there.
Lack of moisture, lack of rain.
Yes.
And so it never gets dry, and as it's rotting, it builds up heat.
Even Asheville Mulch Yard, I mean, it's not scheduled to be completely out until I think February, because every time we go down to Arden for something, it's still smoky and burning, and
I have seen that when it was burning probably a month ago, and we've never experienced anything like that at our facility.
a lot of theirs is Helene debris that just came in from all over, and they.
The one I called in was small, but it was towards the edge of it, getting off the concrete. I'm like, man, if it catches in the woods,
I
need to go look at it.
We did resolve that issue. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank y'all.
Next this evening, we have Tony Elders from Code Enforcement, permitting director of that department. Mr. Elders, good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, board members. I don't have near as many slides as Chad, and I'll try to move along. Hopefully, just share some nuggets with you. presentation tonight was put together by Tiffany Fugate, who runs our software program and so forth. Those of you that don't go to the cashier's office can't give her enough credit for what she pulls together. I tell everybody that will listen that I might be the man in charge, but she runs the show. So she keeps me straight, and that's hard to do. So I'll go through a few things with you, and then I'll give you some statistics on what we got going on now. She gave me some fresh numbers today up through November. In the early 2000s, in the year 2000, actually, the state did what was called a delegated local program. The state used to do all the erosion control, sedimentation erosion control in all the counties. In the year 2000, they came up with a program. If any counties wanted to have a delegated local program, they would provide a salary for 1 year and provide a vehicle. That's when Jackson County got their first one. It was housed under building inspections at the time. Later, the town of Silva got one as well, and when we took over doing things for Silva, we absorbed that position. We currently now have in erosion and sediment control, we have 4 full-time, 1 part-time employee. Most of the time, that's not near enough because of the complaints we get. Every time somebody's near the river, we get a complaint. We go check every single one of them out. It takes a while. One thing that started a few years ago is in that first line there is something we call our River Watch program. Been going since 2011, I believe. Almost every single working day, a member of our staff takes a picture of the main tributary of the Tuckasegee River, from Swain County line all the way to up there where it starts in the Glenville area. We did that because we get people calling complaints, this and that, and they'd send us a picture, and we couldn't tell when or where. And if you don't know how Jackson County's terrain is, it's basically a big bowl with high stuff around the edges, and almost everything from the Blue Ridge Divide this way funnels into that Tuckasegee River. So the guys get to do River Watch pictures every day. Most of the time they're date stamped, so I can tell you when it was. If Savannah Creek is putting mud into the river, then they drive up Savannah Creek to see where it's going. They do that about every working day. Occasionally we'll be short-staffed. From on vacation, we might not get it every day, but we get it most every day. Then in the early 2000s, that program was moved upstairs and we created the planning department. Then probably 2009 was when it was combined together with building inspections and created our department as it exists today, permitting and code enforcement. So these are the areas we cover now. We also handle the floodplain management in our department. We have, including myself, 3 fully certified floodplain managers. That's a pretty significant designation to get, a pretty difficult exam to get through. So we try to keep managing that. And as you know, we've starting down the road of adopting new preliminary flood maps, becoming up later, and there's a lot of changes. My phone's rung off the wall for about the last 3 months, and most people aren't happy. Some people are. Not a whole lot I can do about it except just try to educate them on what the map means. Building permits, most of you know that's the big body of what we do. We have 20 total employees. I think I have 10 field inspectors, and then I have 6 office staff. It's a hard, if you're down in this part of the county most of the time and you don't get up in the cashier's area, you just don't realize what's going on in Jackson County. I'll give you some numbers a little later. It just amazes me every single day. We also do, our department is in charge of fire inspections because we're just now coming into the age where we have some full-time fire departments. We've done the fire inspections since I've been with the county since 1997. We coordinate well with Fire Marshal Forbes, and he's made it up through and got his certifications and inspections, and he tries to coordinate the school inspections. And he's still the fire marshal, does fire investigations. We don't do that. But there's a schedule mandated by the state that we can never keep up with. That we're supposed to inspect every business every 3 years. That's impossible to do. For the town of Silva, we do a special program for them where we charge a fee, and when they issue a new business license, we go do a fire inspection on that business for the town, and then we give them a bill every quarter, and they pay it. Some of these businesses open on Main Street or Mill Street. By the time we get there to do the inspection, they've been open 2 months and closed, but we try to get to all of them. The bigger things like the schools we do twice a year. That's mandated by the state. We try to do them in the summer, and then we work with them and try to do it as much as we can over the holiday break so we don't interrupt classes because we need to get into pretty much every area in the schools. And Fire Marshal Forbes tries to lead those and take one of our guys with us. We're trying to get more guys educated coming up. Of those 20 employees I got, I think I have 3 guys that are over 70. I have a couple guys over 65. I'll be 65 in January. I got a couple guys over 60. So we're trying to start working toward the succession in our office for the future because there's going to be a pretty big exodus at once and a lot of knowledge will go out the door with that. But the fire inspections keep us busy. And on days if we happen to have a slow day of inspections, we'll switch to fire inspections because we have several guys certified. The way people schedule inspections, we don't get to choose what we do. They can schedule inspections online with new software. They can call the ladies in the office, schedule inspections, and we go on the day they request. Some days I'll come in and I can guarantee if I have a couple of people out, we have a whole lot of inspections. That's inevitable anyway. It happens. Things sensitive, sorry. Erosion control permitting, I'm not going to go over all that, but this tells you, that's in your packet. You can see it yourself. Some of the things we're looking for. Also, along with that, usually is a stormwater plan. You'll see some stormwater structures here. I've gotten a lot of calls about the gas station going up at where the old Jack the Dipper used to be at the past CVS out through there. A lot of that work that's been going on because of that site, that's all underground stormwater retention. That's required at the site to maintain the stormwater runoff so it doesn't run in the river warm off of asphalt. Okay, it's designed by a local engineer. It's a really extensive project. Most of those tanks, the gas tanks aren't even here yet. All those tanks ain't going in as stormwater retention underground, be underneath that site. What we do try to do is ground cover. The main requirement, if you disturb a half acre or more, you have to have some type of erosion control plan. It can be pretty simple on a house site, but some of them are pretty complicated. You'll see some of these sites, and we'll get to them in a minute. You can see here we're talking about not all sites are created the same. Some of these you can see were just, some of them have date stamps. Some are a little older, but some are still pretty good pictures. Some of the things that you'll find when you're out doing an inspection. That one on the top right, that was when they were redoing High Hampton Golf Course. That's probably the single largest erosion control project we've permitted in our office and completed. I don't remember how many acres it was, but it was a $44 million job. The bond was ridiculous. They have to put up a bond when you're disturbing that much land. Bottom right there, that's a large detention pond for erosion control and runoff sediment pond. One of the ones that's done, one of the better ones. And then see, that's some more underground retention going in there on the left. That's at one of the apartment complexes up there around Western. I'm trying to remember which one that is. I don't remember right off. Then you can see just some random things. You can see the new roadway there. The difference in the beginning and the end when it first started, and what we had them do with some of the lining the ditch with stone and things like that, slow down the runoff. Floodplain. The last couple of meetings or a few meetings, I'm sure you've had a little bit of education on the flood maps, how they work. We'll spend a lot of time on that because we'll be spending more time on that in a future meeting or two, I'm sure. But that does, and during Hurricane Helene, just for the record, I only had to condemn 2 structures for flooding. One was in the big bend of the river in Webster. That house is now for sale, and they've hired an engineer to move it back and redo it because the new flood maps are putting it more in jeopardy. And the other one was a single-wide trailer at the old Ward's cabins, if you know where they are. So if anybody tells you it only condemned a lot of buildings, no, I didn't. We were very blessed here during Helene as far as actual flooding. Those lakes that we have up there are the best thing we could have for flooding in Jackson County. They really help us when we have a big event. You can hear just some pictures of some of the flooding we've had. Some of these are a little older, some are a little new, but we've had some pretty serious ones. When we had Floyd and Ivan back to back in 2004, that was probably the worst I remember. It just seemed like it was a lot in a hurry. Building permits, different kind of permits we do, and I'll give you some statistics on those in a little bit, but we do new single families, the most common thing we do, the most permits we do. The attached ones are basically like up to 4 residences now. It used to be you could have duplexes. Now you can go all the way up to 4 attached residences. That's a new update from the state building code. Trying to make it where a fourplex now does not have to be sprinklered. That's part of the Affordable Housing Initiative from the state. They've adjusted the building code. That happened a year ago, October. So we can permit up to 4 attached like that without sprinklers, which helps. Multifamily, when we built all those apartments in Western, we had a big rush on those, but it's been a while since we've had an apartment building. I don't remember one last little bit. We do additions and remodels, of course, as well. Manufactured home, we still do several, especially in the Silva office. Commercial can be anything from a remodel of a downtown business to a new building. We've got a new workout gym going up across from the hospital. Not any new large things I can think of right now in Cashers. We've had some small commercial buildings go up recently. The miscellaneous permits, I'll give you some numbers on those. That's like the most common one of those right now is a heat pump change out. We get one for all of those. Those take a lot of time because that's the one permit where we have to organize an appointment with the homeowner, to get in the house. It's a little harder to get those in, but that keeps you busy for sure. Here's we're talking about new two residential construction sites are the same. Everything's a little different. You can see we put some good pictures in some ones, and a lot of times the guys don't know what they're going to find until they show up. They've got a picture of the permit and maybe a plan or something. They get there, and some sites are good and some are not so good. There's one I believe it was the Greens Creek Fire Station, the one in the top right. That's our building when it was being remodeled, the community services building. Trying to remember where the one on the left, bottom left there is. I don't remember that. That swimming pool was at one of the clubs in Cashers. Fire inspections again. We've talked a little bit of that. Also, something the state came out with about 10 years ago. When you see these large tents for an event, every single one of those requires a permit in the fire inspection. And guess when they set all those up? Friday afternoon. They set those up for an event. My guys love those, I tell you. Fortunately, most of our tents are set up by the same company in the Cashers area where they have a lot of events, and they know what they're doing. It doesn't take much once we get there, but we still have to go. Fortunately, the previous board approved, and some of y'all are probably on that board when we've got our new permitting software approved. It's a pretty expensive project. It rides on our GIS system, which is crucial to us and keeps us going. And Tiffany put these numbers together. We went live on February 24th, and as of November 4th, it processed 3,684 new permits. That's our office. The best part about this system, there's several departments on it, and that's why Tiffany's so valuable. She works with all these departments when they have issues. Planning is using it. Environmental health is using it. All their septic permits are in it. 911 addressing uses it. Fire marshal uses it. It's tied in with the tax office. They get information straight out of it. So it's the best thing for us. Also, that's when we came up with the part of it is a portal, public portal. People can sign up. The contractors love it. They can apply online. They can pay online. They can schedule their inspections online. When an inspector, along with it, came iPads for our field guys. When the inspector keys off that inspection and their notes, the contractor, the owner of that permit gets an email, and they can check that. Sometimes if it's a lot of notes, the guys have to wait till they get back to the office. A lot of the guys are like me, and they type with one finger on that iPad, so it takes a little longer to put a big one together. But the good part is you can take a lot of pictures of that iPad and attach them to the permit. Here's what I'm showing you need to fix, things like that. And that's really helped a lot. So there's some of the totals that again, just from February through November, and I'm going to give you some totals of full year of everything put together and see. She split them up between residential and building. And the commercial building, addition remodels, new single families up a good bit. ABC permits, when you see that, anybody that sells alcohol in the county of Jackson, to any of the towns, we have to go do an ABC inspection, which includes a fire inspection and a building inspection. We have to sign off that that building's in compliance. We started doing that when the county first legalized that a few years ago. I called the lady at the ABC board in Raleigh and asked her, what does in compliance mean to you? There's a lot of old buildings. Is it in compliance with the code when it was issued, or what do you want us to put on there? She said, when the building was built, the code then, she said, we just want you to tell us it's safe for them to go in there and get liquored up. I said, well, thanks for all your support. So we basically do a fire inspection, check exits, make sure they have proper fire extinguishers, things like that, depending on the type of building. That's everything from Ingalls to a new nightclub opening downtown. If they're going to sell alcohol, we do that for entire county. These are some of the statistics by office, and I'll hit some more numbers and more current in a little bit all the way through the end of November. You can see in Sylva, new single families, we had 91 permits. Right below that, the cashier's office in that same period, we had 115. And I'll show you the disparity in the sizes of those buildings a little bit too. We'll talk a little about that. You can see manufactured homes, though, we had 81 in the Sylva office, and we had 6 in the cashier's area. It's just a different dynamic we deal with. When you're looking at the miscellaneous permits, over there to the far right, Sylva had 678, Cashers had 624, and again, a large part of that is heat pump change-outs, things like that, service changes, service upgrades. There's also there the tent and fireworks permits. We do all the fireworks permits and inspections out of our office as well. As most of y'all know, I've been on this board a while. I love the 4th of July. So I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse. I got got a helicopter ride to Mission Hospital on July 1st this year. I didn't have to do it, so Doug had to take somebody else with him. So we managed to
Does
get
your
through.
new program do all those things for you?
It
Does it break
manages
all that down for you?
it manages for us, yeah. And
So it saves you a lot of money and time?
it saves a lot of time and paperwork because used to be all those fireworks speech were paper basically. We'd have your way tracking them. That's really helped. Um, the previous system did not have the permitting and reviews available for planning or emergency management. Since we on live 2774 applications reviews been processed, 1,661 online users. That's just a huge deal. That's 661 people not calling the office every day saying I need to schedule an inspection. And we've taken in that much in payments online. Them being able to pay online is huge too. That's not a paper receipt anymore. All that they do a printout. I'm pretty sure that I carry over here to Darlene's office and they put all that in. But that credit card machine online reconciles all that, saves a whole lot of work in our office. And that was just that, getting most of that. What I'll tell you right quick, I want to update the totals on this, and this is just ran today, so through the end of November. We've got 211 new single families, 97 in Sylvan, 114 in Cashers so far this year. So to give you an idea of some of the things we're doing, the Silva office, she ran these numbers, and also the new system run these kind of spreadsheets for me. It tells me where they are, it tells me square footage, tells me how much their permit fee was. And this is the admitted cost of construction that they give us on the application. And a lot of people usually underestimate because they think the tax office is going to use that figure, but they don't, of course. The Silva office, those 97 permits thus far this year, the average square footage of a permit issued for a new house in Silva is 2,879 square feet. Average cost of construction per house is $705,225. So it's not small houses we're doing anymore. Yeah, but down here, what runs those costs, those numbers up is Boston Preserve, Bear Lake Reserve, places like that. We've got 2 or 3 of those. The River Club in Cullowhee's got some amazing, expensive houses in there. Show you the difference though in that one. Again, that was $705,000 per house, 2,800 square feet. The cashier's office, which also runs about 20 more permits so far this year. Average square foot up there is 4,600 and just over 2 million per house. That's the average.
My gosh.
What's been going on up there lately in the cashier's office that's been so different for us? People are buying large tracts of land and creating these family compounds. And I'm sure Commissioner Jennings, that's have seen some of those up there. We've got a couple of compounds she just highlighted for me. One on the Beatree Road, a family compound. The main house is 13,776 square feet with an $8 million value. The guest house is 7,500 square feet with a $3.3 million value. The caretaker's cottage is 9,000 square feet and another cottage 1,800 square feet. So then down the Silver Run, I believe is the other one. The main house, 14,792 square feet, $11 million house in the main house. And
I believe I'd have enough room in those.
the largest house we permitted, though, happened up Cullowhee Mountain off of Pine Creek, and that was this last week they picked up the permit. This is the largest single-family home we've ever permitted, 21,010 square feet. Their permit fee was $10,365 for their building permit. So. And that's a bargain for them, how many trips we'll make to that house. My fee schedule is definitely going to go up next year for larger houses. If you see a framing inspection, like if any of you build a house and you get that yellow card that you check off your inspections on, that house will get 20 framing inspections. You know, one to inspect all the framing on that house, it'd take a week to do it all at one time. So, and they will call us out there. I want this wing or the master suite inspected, the framing, don't get the insulators in here or whatever. You know, it's just a lot of trips. And yeah, a lot of parcels, and the new software really helps with that. If it's a different inspector goes a second time, he can see the pictures of what the first inspector looked at. You know, that's really helped us. And that software has an ongoing maintenance cost, I know, but it's definitely worth what we're putting into it for sure.
That's really good.
And that's really all I've got. Just a summary of an average day for us. I encourage all of you, if you want to come see what we do, if you want to ride with one of the guys, if you haven't seen the cashier's office, go up there and check in with them, see what comes through there. It's really busy.
People come in from architects, plan sets like that.
Yeah.
And they're wound tight as can be. So
yeah, we have we don't have enough room for plant storage. We generally try to keep them, if it's a private building, we keep them while it's being inspected. You know, and it's just handy to have a set in the office to look at before you go out there. And then all of our county buildings, we keep all the plans for them. We keep plans for school buildings, we keep those stored. I'd love to have a way to get them all digitized, the county buildings especially, but I don't know. We'll get to that soon. I hope maybe the next director will get to that. That'd be a big job too. There's a bunch of them. I'd be glad to answer any questions if you have anything.
I got one. Can you give a copy of the sizes and square footage averages to Chad?
Yeah.
He was neat. We talked about that earlier.
I think Tiffany sent him a copy of this report. I believe that's today, Cynthia. Yeah.
Okay.
So, because I know he did tell me, talking about that C&D landfill, I probably definitely think that's where the majority of our C&D waste comes from, and it's a long haul down that mountain. We pick up truck at a time. And there, you saw again, we're doing almost as many houses down here, but it just doesn't compare. Like I said, I've got 10 field inspectors, if I count myself, and 6 or 7 of us are on the mountain every day.
With the size of those houses, it's like quadrupled.
Yeah, and that used to be that when I started in this job in 1997, we people stayed in Casters 2 or 3 weeks. Now I guess because we got such good broadband, thanks to everybody's work on that, they stay year round. You know, they don't leave. So
I'd like to be the caretaker of that work.
yeah, it's
19,000 square feet to live in.
How can I apply?
I'm sure there's probably a job out there. I don't know. I've seen a lot of them. I'm still amazed, and you just can't imagine the marbles and the things like that. There's no fiberglass tubs or anything. Any questions, anybody? Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Elders. Thank you to your staff. Moving on to our next item is 2026 meeting schedule. And Mr. King. Check it for that.
The reason we brought that up is the Whittier meeting. We wanted to move it to January instead of having it on the 16th of this month.
Okay.
So we're looking at the first quarter of 2026, I believe. Is it March? May not have been January. Do what? Moving it to June, sorry, not January.
Would it be our
in the
first
middle of
meeting in
summer.
June?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where would that be held at school?
Be at the school, yeah.
Just moving on.
All the other dates for the other locations will stay the same.
The other dates will be fine, yeah.
The
So
second
the
we'll
next
move
one
to
will be
June.
in, at Balsam in March.
June 2nd would be at Whittier. I don't have any objections to that.
No.
So go ahead and finalize that one for our schedule. And then moving on now to other business and rules and procedure. So y'all wanted to move our rules and procedures over to the work session to talk about them. I'm not sure. Are there any points of contact y'all want to talk about, or?
I didn't see anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same rules as we've been abiding by, especially with our amendments from when Commissioner Jennings, Commissioner Hooper came on, where we move our meeting start times back to 6:30 and our work session at 7. So that was the only change we had last year, so.
Did you have any contention with anything that you wanted to change?
No, I just wanted some more time to look over it, but it's fine. If we're not changing anything, it's fine then.
So there's consensus to move it to next meeting's agenda. Any other business we need to talk about tonight? If not, I'll seek a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
And a second? All right, all in favor? Aye. None opposed. Thank you, Ms. Berry.